Welcome to Mr. English Daily.
Hey, English learners. Welcome back to Mr. English Daily. I'm Luna.
And I'm Leo, the place where real conversations help your English grow naturally.
Today's topic? Big one. Should you follow your dreams or just be practical?
Simple question, complicated answer.
We'll talk honestly about fear, choice, and how to stay true to yourself without ignoring real life.
And later, our word tour. Key vocabulary from today explained clearly with examples.
This episode is B2 level, a little richer in language but relaxed in pace. Don't stress about every word. Just listen, follow the feeling, and let your English grow.
If you enjoy this kind of content, like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Where are you listening from? And here's our question for today.
Do you feel like you're living the life you chose or one shaped by someone else's expectations? Tell us below. Your comment might help someone else feel less alone.
All right, let's get into it. Part 1. The dream that gets quiet.
Leo, I think most of us had some kind of dream before life got serious.
Definitely. And notice that word, aspiration. It means a strong hope or ambition for your future. We'll come back to it in the word tour.
But here's what I find interesting. When people hear the word dream, they imagine something huge, fame, adventure, some dramatic life change.
Right. But most real dreams are much quieter than that.
Exactly. A lot of people just want work that means something, or a calmer life, or to wake up without feeling heavy every morning.
That version of the dream feels more honest, less about looking impressive, more about feeling right inside your own life.
And I think many people still remember that younger version of themselves, the one who wanted something clearly before life got complicated.
Before practicality walked in like an uninvited manager and somehow took over the whole meeting.
Exactly. But here's what I believe. Adulthood doesn't always kill the dream. It just pushes it into the background.
Yes, it's not gone, it's just harder to hear.
I think of it like a window. The window is still there, light still comes through, but over the years, things pile up in front of it. Responsibilities, fear, other people's opinions, and one day you almost forget the window was ever there.
The dream isn't gone, it's just no longer the loudest thing in your life.
And then it comes back. In the strangest moments, you're driving somewhere or lying awake at night, and suddenly that old part of you quietly taps your shoulder.
It shows up in the middle of a normal Tuesday and says, "Hi, I'm still here, by the way."
And then you're having an unexpected emotional moment in a supermarket parking lot.
The timing is always so disrespectful.
Always. But I think that says something important. A lot of people aren't empty. They're just disconnected from a part of themselves they once understood very clearly.
And that might be the first truth of this whole episode. Part 2. Why people slowly pull away.
So if that dream is still there, what changes? What pulls people away from it?
It's almost never one big dramatic moment.
Right. It happens slowly. Life gets expensive. You get tired. More people start depending on you. And suddenly, safety starts looking very attractive.
Because safety feels like relief, like protection.
And that's where apprehension shows up. That quiet, low-level fear. What if this goes badly? What if I lose stability? What if I try and it doesn't work?
And here's the uncomfortable part. Those fears aren't always wrong. Bills are real. Family pressure is real. Responsibility is real. That's why simple advice like just follow your heart doesn't work for everyone.
Some advice sounds like it has never paid rent in its life.
Exactly. Follow your dreams. Lovely. My landlord also has strong opinions about that.
Very consistent opinions.
But here's what happens over time. When life becomes completely about avoiding discomfort, you stop asking, what is true for me? You only ask, what feels less risky?
And those are very different questions. One builds a life. The other just protects you from feeling exposed.
And that's where something quietly goes wrong. Your life may look fine on the outside, but inside, something feels slightly off.
Like wearing shoes that technically fit, but never feel comfortable.
That's exactly the feeling.
And once that disconnect shows up, a harder question arrives. Are you making wise choices, or is fear just wearing a very respectable outfit?
because from the outside, those two things look almost identical.
Exactly. People rarely say, I'm scared. They say, I'm just being realistic.
And sometimes that's genuinely true. Sometimes caution is maturity. But the problem starts when someone plays it safe so often that they begin calling it their personality.
That really happens. People say, I'm just not that kind of person, when really, they've just become very used to avoiding discomfort.
Fear becomes so familiar, it starts to sound wise.
Fear has spreadsheets, fear has a calendar, fear has 12 very organized reasons why this is not the right time.
And some of those reasons sound completely sensible, which is why honesty matters. The real question isn't just, am I being practical? It's, am I being wise or am I mainly protecting myself from discomfort?
Wisdom feels steady. Fear feels tighter than that.
Fear makes your life smaller.
Simple sentence says everything.
Part 3. The case for moving carefully.
Okay, but I want to be careful here. I don't want this episode to sound like if you don't quit your job tomorrow, you're failing at life.
Please, no dramatic resignations after one podcast episode. We are not responsible for that.
We are not, because sometimes restraint is the right move.
And restraint means controlling yourself, not acting too quickly, especially when emotions are running high.
Restraint isn't weakness. Sometimes it's wisdom. It's that inner voice saying, I want change, but not from this emotional state and not without a real plan.
Because not every bold move is brave. Sometimes what looks like courage is really just burnout and a very strong desire to escape.
Running away from one life is not the same as building a better one.
I've been there. When I felt really stuck, every dramatic change started looking brilliant to me. In that headspace, big change automatically meant good change.
But exhausted decisions and good decisions are not the same thing.
Not at all. Which is why restraint can actually be a form of care for yourself and for the dream.
People need permission to move slowly, to save money, to test things quietly, to build in small ways.
Following a dream doesn't have to mean turning your whole life upside down in one weekend.
Real courage often isn't dramatic as people expect. Sometimes it looks like doing one small thing consistently over a long period of time.
But, and this matters, there's also a fine line between moving carefully and hiding behind preparation forever.
Gorgeous planning, zero movement.
Beautiful color-coded plans, absolutely no action.
That's where preparation quietly becomes avoidance.
And that's where conviction matters. Conviction is a strong inner belief that something is right or deeply important to you.
That feeling that says, I don't know exactly how this will go, but I know this matters.
And conviction doesn't mean fear disappears.
Not at all. You can be scared and still have conviction. People often wait for fear to leave before they move, but that wait can go on forever.
Fear can ride along. It just can't be the one driving.
Fear can sit in the back and complain.
I preferred the old route. This feels unstable. Thank you very much.
But once fear stops being the boss, that's when people finally take the plunge.
And to take the plunge means to finally do something bold after hesitating for a long time.
Not because everything is perfect, not because the fear is gone, but because staying the same starts hurting more than moving.
Waiting starts to feel heavier than trying.
And I think a lot of people know exactly that feeling.
Here's where this gets more personal. I think a lot of people are living lives they didn't fully choose. They inherited them.
Inherited ideas about success, stability, respectability from family, culture, comparison, fear, and then spent years trying to get good at a life they never properly questioned.
And nobody said, please slowly abandon yourself. It just happened. Through quiet messages like, this is what sensible people do. This is what success looks like.
And before long, you're following in someone else's footsteps.
And to follow in someone's footsteps means copying the path another person took, usually family or society's version of what a good life looks like.
Sometimes that path genuinely suits you, but sometimes it's just familiar, and familiar isn't the same as yours.
And then a strange feeling shows up. Your life looks fine on paper, but you feel weirdly absent from it.
Like everything is there, the schedule, the work, the routine, but some deeper part of you is standing slightly behind the whole thing.
And that's why people hold back.
To hold back means stopping yourself from doing what you really want because of fear, doubt, or outside pressure.
You hold back your honesty, your energy, sometimes even your joy.
And that's why I think some people aren't lazy. They're disconnected, and those are very different things.
So the question worth asking, honestly, is whose voice is actually shaping my choices right now? Mine? My family's? Society's? Fears?
Because there's a difference between guidance and inheritance. Guidance helps you grow. Inheritance, if you never question it, can quietly trap you.
Part 6, Where We Land.
Okay, so where does all this leave us?
I don't think the answer is quit everything and chase the dream wildly. And I don't think it's be practical forever and silence yourself.
Both extremes feel incomplete.
Maybe the more honest goal is simply this: don't give up on yourself.
And to give up on something means to stop believing in it, to stop trying.
Slow is not failure. Careful is not failure. Small steps are not failure. What becomes dangerous is deciding that the deeper part of you simply doesn't matter.
And that's why I love the word loyalty here. Sometimes a dream doesn't need dramatic action. It just needs loyalty, a quiet refusal to forget it completely.
And even if you can't make a huge move today, you can still work towards something meaningful.
To work towards something means making slow, steady progress in the direction of a goal.
You can learn, you can save, you can practice, you can ask better questions, you can make a little more space for what matters.
Maybe the goal isn't instant transformation. Maybe it's just staying connected.
That feels more realistic and a lot kinder.
Less movie scene, more actual life.
Maybe your dream changed. Maybe it got smaller on the outside, but deeper on the inside. Maybe now the dream is peace, or creative freedom, or simply a life that feels like yours.
That still counts. It counts deeply.
So maybe the real question isn't, should I follow my dream or be practical?
Maybe it's how do I stay loyal to what matters while living responsibly in the real world?
Dreams and practicality don't have to be enemies.
They just need a better relationship.
Word tour.
All right, word tour time. Let's look at the key words and phrases from today.
First, aspiration. A strong hope or ambition, something you truly want for your future. Her biggest aspiration is a life that feels calm and meaningful.
Aspiration.
Next, apprehension. A quiet feeling of fear or worry about what might happen. He felt real apprehension before making a major life decision.
Apprehension.
Play it safe. To choose the safer option to avoid risk or trouble. She played it safe for so long, she forgot what she actually wanted.
Play it safe.
Restraint. Controlling yourself and not acting too quickly, especially when emotions are strong. Sometimes restraint isn't weakness, it's wisdom.
Conviction. A strong inner belief that something is right or deeply important to you.
You don't need to feel fearless. Conviction helps you keep moving.
Conviction.
Take the plunge. To finally do something bold after hesitating for a long time. After years of thinking, he finally took the plunge and started his own project.
Take the plunge.
Follow in someone's footsteps. To copy the path another person took, often a parent's or society's version of what a good life looks like.
Sometimes that path genuinely suits you, but sometimes it's just familiar, and familiar isn't the same as yours.
Hold back. To stop yourself from doing what you really want because of fear, doubt, or outside pressure.
Hold back.
Give up on. To stop believing in something or stop trying for it.
Give up on.
And finally, work toward. To make slow, steady progress in the direction of a goal.
Work toward.
And those are your word tour words for today. 10 words and phrases all built around the theme of dreams, fear and honest living.
Learn them, use them. They'll help you talk about your own life more clearly.
And maybe when you have better words for something, you understand it a little better too.
We'll leave you with one quiet question today. Not pressure, just something worth sitting with.
What matters to you? And how can you stay a little more connected to it even now?
You don't need your whole life figured out.
But you do deserve to stay close to what feels true. I'm Leo.
And I'm Luna. Thanks for listening to Mr. English Daily. We'll see you in the next one.